What's up, everybody? I hope all is well. Today is our first official class for Peep Game Volume 1. Today we'll be discussing copyrights and trademarks. I would advise you to grab a pen and pad or a mobile device you can take some notes on. Pause the video if you need to, but if not, let's begin. So in the music business, you'll be dealing with copyrights and trademarks every step of the way. They're relevant to everything you'll be creating throughout the course of your career, whether it be the music in your song, your lyrics, or even your brand. So to keep it simple, we're going to discuss exactly what they are, how they work, and how to register for them. This lesson is going to be split up into two parts. First, we're going to discuss the copyrights, then we'll discuss the trademarks after. But the 3 points we have listed under the overview will be relevant to each section. Let's move forward. Starting off with copyrights. What are they? A copyright is a form of intellectual property. Copyrights are considered to be intangible assets, and copyrights are the rights that you have to exploit your work. Let's really dive in and discuss them one point at a time. Point number 1. A copyright is a form of intellectual property. Intellectual property means it's a creation of the mind. It isn't physical, it's mental. However, the only way to authenticate or prove your copyright is to fix your mental creation into a physical form using a physical medium. As a creative, you should either record by video or audio all of your works, thoughts, and ideas. Another alternative is to document it using either paper or digital software. Point number 2. Copyrights are considered to be intangible assets. Now, the word intangible is directly related to when we say intellectual property, meaning it isn't something that is physical. Nonetheless, it is still considered to be an asset. And the reason being is that they can be used to generate money. Moving on to our third point, copyrights are the rights that you have to exploit your own work. And to be specific, copyrights are a matter of business and law. And within the realm of business and law, the word exploit means to make use of or benefit from, and in most cases, the use or benefit of anything is usually a financial matter. Keep this in mind before we move on to our next slide. Your copyrights are exclusive to you, they are your property, and by law, nobody else has the right to monetize it. Moving forward to our next slide, what is copyrightable? Well, as an artist, songwriter, producer, or we'll just say musician, any and all creative works are copyrightable. This includes, but is not limited to, our musical works, which can be the beats we produce, the harmonies or the melodies we create, or even the lyrics that we create. Our merchandise, such as the apparel and the clothing, or any other things that we may sell in tandem with our business, and your logo. So remember, as we just discussed on the last slide, our copyright is our intellectual property. But when you create a song, merchandise, or logo, that's something that originated from you. It's an original thought or idea. It came from your mind, and it becomes property once you fix it into a physical form using a physical medium, such as recording it or printing or pressing your logo on a t-shirt or manufacturing your merchandise. And even furthermore, as creatives, all of our works have some type of monetary value. Your music, your merch, and your logo can be used for commerce or bought and sold. And because copyrights are exclusive rights, only you have the right to determine how your copyrights are exploited, meaning how it's sold, who can sell it, where it can be sold or bought, and even when. Let's move on to the next slide. So at this point, we're going to talk about how we can register our copyrights. Here in the U.S., the Library of Congress is a federal library/research facility which serves the purpose of collecting and documenting the audio, visual, digital, and even physical recordings of books, films, maps, manuscripts, and even music. They're located at 101 Independence Ave Southeast, Washington, D.C. You can literally go into the physical library and view some of the information they have, which is a lot. I mean, it's literally over 173 million items. Furthermore, I just want to clear up this confusion right here. A lot of people believe that they have to register their music or their works with the Library of Congress in order for it to be copyrighted. But as we now know, that isn't true. As soon as your music is documented or recorded, technically by law, you already have your copyright. However, there are some benefits to registering your work with the Library of Congress. Let's discuss a few of the benefits that you get from registering your work. They're listed right here on the right-hand side of the screen. Point number 1, you get public record of copyright claim or proof of ownership, meaning if you register your music with the Library of Congress, your copyright claim will be recognized on a national scale and there will be no denial of your right to your own music. That's number 1. Point number 2, you get protection in the case of copyright infringement or legal proof of ownership. Now, infringement is when someone exploits the rights to your copyrighted work without your permission. Now, point 2 extends into point 3. By registering your work with the Library of Congress, you gain the ability to file for an infringement lawsuit. So if anybody were to exploit your rights, you would need to have your copyrights registered with the Library of Congress in order to sue them for any money or damages done. Now again, you don't have to register your work with them, but for me, those last 2 points alone, protection in the case of copyright infringement and the ability to file for a lawsuit, are both the reason why I advocate for people to register their music. There's literally thousands of copyright infringement cases online. In the music industry, some of the most common instances we see of infringement usually has to do with sampling. Now, sampling can work in 2 ways. Now, in most instances, when people hear the word sampling, they're usually thinking about beat production. Like when Metro Boomin, Timbaland, or Kanye West takes the music from another artist or from another composer and uses it to make a whole new beat. That isn't the only way that you can sample music. In fact, this happens for lyrics as well, and it's called interpolation. So interpolation is when somebody uses your lyrics to record or write their song. Now, I won't be going into any further depth about sampling, whether it's interpolation or the exploitation of your rights in this video, but if you'd like me to discuss that more at a later time, just let me know in the comments and I'll create another video for you. For now, we're just going to move on with the lesson and continue to talk about how you can register your works. So if you'd like to register your music with the Library of Congress, all you have to do is visit www.copyright.gov. It'll be a short process that can take up maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll be able to register multiple works at once. It can be one single song or multiple songs in one file, like an album or an EP. Either or, it'll be the same price. And they don't charge you for each work. They charge you for your individual registries. Keep that in mind. On to our next slide, updates and changes. Copyright laws are subject to change on an annual basis. This can be a result of flaws in the current legislation or newly improved and innovative methods to protect the intellectual property of people and businesses. There's a possibility that at the time you're watching this, whether it be the day it was uploaded or later this year, there can be a slight change in the copyright law. Now, more than likely, it won't be anything significant. Nonetheless, it always helps to know about any changes in the law, especially as it pertains to music, which is the vitality of your career. So if you're looking to learn more about copyright law, you can also visit copyright.gov and click on the tab that says Law and Policy. That concludes the first half of this video where we discussed copyrights. If you need to take a break, pause the video, move around a little bit. But if you're ready to keep on going, we're going to hit trademarks next. So as for the second part of this video, we're beginning with the question, what are trademarks? Well, just like copyrights, trademarks are a form of intellectual property. Trademarks are considered to be intangible assets. And lastly, trademarks are used to authenticate a good or service. Now that's a little bit different from a copyright. Copyrights are your rights to exploit your intellectual property, but trademarks are what you use to authenticate that actual good or service. So furthermore, trademarks can be used for something called brand identification. Trademarks are used to distinguish one product from another product. And by doing so, that helps to declare the product's authenticity. Keep that in mind as we move on to our next slide. What is trademarkable? In business, specifically the music business, trademarks are used for the names of companies and products. Being that you are a music creator, trademarks should be applied to your alias, which is your musical identity, your logo, your website, and essentially everything that you will be using commercially. So going back to the top where it says trademarks are used for the names of companies and products. Let's just focus on that for a minute. Within the independent music market, it's very common to find 2 or more artists with the same name, and sometimes even 2 or more record labels with the same name. The way that you would go about distinguishing them is applying for your trademark. By trademarking the name of your company and your products and even your musical alias, this can help fans and other companies distinguish you from other artists or entities. And this goes for any and all products or companies that you create. So just to make a bit more distinction between a copyright and a trademark. Copyrights protect your rights to your creation, while trademarks help to identify and authenticate and even protect the image of your brand and all the products that you create. Let's move forward to our next slide. The United States Patent and Trademark Office is located at 600 Delaney Street in Alexandria, Virginia. Commonly referred to as the USPTO, this U.S. Department of Commerce serves as the National Patent Office and Trademark Registration Authority for the United States. So when you create a product, it isn't automatically trademarked. In order to receive a trademark for the name of your business and your products, including your musical entity, you have to register them with the USPTO at uspto.gov. And there are several benefits to you doing so. Point number 1, you get the exclusive rights to the names used for your products and business. So for example, legally speaking, there's only one artist named DaBaby. There's only one artist named J. Cole or Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar. Pick any famous artist from any genre. The reason being is that they've trademarked their names. They trademarked themselves as a product and a business, which gives them the exclusive right to the names they used. Point number 2, you get protection in the case of trademark infringement. So in a similar fashion to copyright infringement, trademark infringement is when somebody uses the names of your products or your business without your permission, and usually for monetary gain. If your products and business are trademarked, the proof or authenticity of that trademark will be documented publicly at the USPTO's registrar. And that's what brings us to point number 3. That will give you the ability to file for an infringement lawsuit. As for me personally, I believe that trademarking your name, trademarking the name of your album, and essentially trademarking any product or any business that's related to your music career is non-negotiable. You have to do that. It's the only way to protect your identity in this market. And I'm just speaking here on a real level. Cybersecurity, internet scams, identity theft, that stuff is at an all-time high in today's society. And not just the US, but around the world. Be wise and don't hesitate to trademark your name, your business that you operate underneath if you have one, and any of the products that you'll be selling that are attached to your music career. So long as you have that in order, it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches in the event that anybody were to try to infringe upon your trademark rights. Let's move on to our final and last slide. Just like copyright law, trademark laws are subject to change on an annual basis. This can be a result of flaws in the current legislation or newly improved and innovative methods to protect the intellectual property of people and businesses. For more updates on trademark laws, visit uspto.gov and click the tab News and Updates. All right, y'all, that is all for today's video. I hope that you learned a lot and that you go apply this information, as it is crucial to the foundation of your career, honestly, and the well-being of your career in the long run. But I won't hold you up any longer. That completes our class for today. Rewatch the video as many times as you need to, and I will see you on the 8th. Peace.